Welcome to Ephemera Files by Tommy and to another Tag Tuesday. And today I'm going to share how I made this tag. And it has a little surprise. When you slide this section over, this section of tag, it slides around. Then these envelopes unwrap from around it, and you can tuck goodies inside each envelope. Then to close it, simply slide those under the tag and slide the tag back over this envelope. And I can tell you right now that I made a boo-boo, and I just noticed it. The way that I tied my strings on top here are causing it to not want to turn all the way, because this should swivel all the way up. So when you make yours, don't do that. Make sure that your fiber or whatever, if you're going to put it through there, that it is loose enough that your tag can swivel all the way. And I'll do that on the new one that I make. And this tag, it's a large tag, but it makes use of mini envelopes. And a mini envelope is what I consider a mini envelope anyway, is something that cannot go through the mail by itself. And I looked up the minimum measurement for mailing an envelope in the United States anyway is 3.5 inches by 5 inches. So if it's less than the 3.5 by 5 inches, it's too small to go through the mail. At least that's what the website says. So all of these envelopes I have here are too small to go through the mail. I think a postage stamp would take up 1/4 of the front of that one anyway. But I wasn't sure about something like this, the size anyway. It's a that's a me. It's a Target gift card envelope. And if I glue this right here, it doesn't open up. So it counts as an envelope. But I thought, you know, I feel like I've seen, just a minute, I feel like my light just went out. Okay, I don't know why that just went out, but it did. Anyway, I feel like I have seen envelopes this small in the mail, but I could be wrong. And I think that that's actually the biggest one that I have in here. You can also not just use envelopes that are pre-made. You can make your own. I cut these out when I was trying to figure out the dimensions for making my tag over there. And these were much larger than what I wanted because of the dimensions that your tag needs to be in order to use the envelopes. So we are going to get started on this. So these are the envelopes that I'm going to use. I have not glued them yet. And I am going to make a large tag. It'll probably be a standalone tag. Now, the important measurement for your tag is based on your envelope. When your envelope is closed, whether you use one that you made yourself or if you use an envelope that is pre-made, the tag needs to be 1/2 inch longer plus 1.5, I believe, 1.5 inches longer. So you need your tag to be 2.5 inches longer than the longest side of your envelope. And you will need to make sure you have 3 of the same size envelopes. They can be different colors, patterns, papers. They need to be the same size. So I have cut, since my envelopes are 4.5 by 3, 4.5, I need a 6-inch piece of paper, which this is 7 inches. So that's fine. It can be more. It just needs to be at least 2.5 inches longer than your paper. Did I say that right? Yes. So for your tag, you're going to take your piece of paper. Let's see. Let me make sure I'm doing it the right direction. It is 7 that way. Oh, it depends on both. It also needs to be narrower than the body of your envelope. So when you fold it, it is narrower, okay? That's just slightly narrower, if not just the same size, which is fine because we can work that out with the envelopes. You'll want to fold it in half, and you will want to make the top of your tag into your tag, however it is that you choose to do that. I am going to use my tag punch here. Actually, I'm not, because this tag punch only goes up to 2.5 inches. I'm going to use that for the closing tag, which I am going to make out of this piece of paper. It all coordinates. So for the upper tag, I am actually going to use my envelope punch board, if I can get it out. And I know that this measures 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up each side for 3 inches. Punch it. Do it again on this side. I'm going to line it up for 3 inches. And punch it. And I like the way it gives the little curved edge at the top of the tag. And then I'll have to take my hole punch to punch the center. And for that, I'm going to just use my crocodile, since I've already got it over here to be ready for the eyelet. So I'm going to go ahead and punch my hole now, just because it's convenient. All right. The next step is, if you're using envelopes that you're making yourself, make sure that you go ahead and glue your pieces together. Whoops, it goes that way. So I'm going to go and I'm going to glue all these pieces together, and I'll be right back. So here are my envelopes. I have glued them together. And for my tag, I want to have this showing, but it's going, so I want to make sure that as much of it will show as possible. And what I'm doing right here is also checking to make sure that my envelope flap is not bigger than my tag is. So right now I am going to put glue all over one side of the tag so that I can attach the envelope to it. All right, so my picture is there, and I can cover up just the top of it. I don't mind that part, okay? And I am going to leave, and this is where this mat helps, I'm going to leave 1/4 inch between the fold of the envelope, right there, and this side of the tag. And I'm going to add some more glue right here on this part of the envelope. And I'm going to close this and press it down firmly so that everything adheres all together. I want to make sure that the top is stuck together and that that envelope lid is still in there. And it can be a little less than 1/4 inch if that looks out of balance. I'm going to keep it at 1/4 inch for right now as we go on to the next steps. So this will wrap around like this. Like I said, I'm making it bigger for ease of viewing. And I probably wanted to scoot that in just a little bit further. So if I have time, yes, it hasn't completely sealed yet. I think instead of 1/4 of an inch, I want the first one to be 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so let's do this again. Sorry, I make boo-boos too, and sometimes you need to see them so that you can see my thought processes. Well, why didn't she just do it that way? Well, because she didn't think of it the first time. Or because it worked out differently with a different, oh, what would be the word? Different size of the tag. This tag is much larger. And so I went for the 1/4 inch, where with the other one, I went much snugger because it was a smaller tag. Well, apparently I needed to keep that measurement snugger, even though it's a larger tag. All right. And you can fiddle around with it. Figure out what works best for you. That's how I come up with a lot of my ideas, is I'm figuring out what works best for me. Now, we are going to line up these 2 envelopes. And again, you want just a little bit of space right there so your envelope can open and close freely. Okay? So I think that if I do it this way, then when I open it up, I can see exactly where it's placed on the flap of the other envelope. Yep, and I know where to put my glue. If my glue bottle will stay. It's warm in my studio, but I think that even when it's warm in the studio, if it's cold outside, I think for some reason it still affects glue. I don't know if that is true, if it has anything to do with anything. Okay, so we've got that placed on there. It is nice and even. I'm going to fold this over to make sure. See, I didn't have enough gap there. I somehow scooched it up. So now I've got my gap. I'll open it back up and make sure it's still even. It's not. I slid it a little bit. You'll do a lot of opening and closing and making sure things are still even in making this envelope. Now, we're going to repeat that with this last envelope for the tag. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this. And this one you can snug right up to that one as long as you make sure to close it first, because you need to make sure that you can close it. I think I went the right direction with that. Let's see. And this will go here. Yes. My tag on this one is going to swing the other direction, just because of the way I started putting on the envelopes. If you want it to swing the other way, then you'll need to make sure and pay attention when you're putting your envelopes on, okay? Because you want it to swing this way, then you need to start your envelope on that side. It'll swing the direction that is opposite of the way that you start your envelope, okay? I feel like I'm very confusing right now. And when you get to this part, you will actually have the 2 envelopes, the first one and the last one, stacked on top of each other. Just like that. So now, once again, we're going to do the gluing. And fold it over to make sure everything aligns. And my envelope that was my first one on is just the slightest bit bigger than my last envelope that I ended with. It's because I made the envelopes myself. If you buy store-bought envelopes, they'll be the same size. All right, so there's that part. And I'm going to put a clip on so that it doesn't keep flapping open. as I knock things down elsewhere. Okay, so now I need to make a second tag with this, and I am going to use my hole punch because this tag is 2.5 inches. Then the hole punch should accommodate the tag. Don't know if it's an awkward angle or if my hole punch is wearing out. May have been because I was trying to push it away from me instead of turning it around the way I normally would. All right, and this is going to slide onto that tag. And when you slide it onto that tag, you will want to line up your holes. Now, it may not sit exactly straight, and it might. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit crooked because it'll still swivel. I'm going to choose, let's see, I think I'm going to go with the gray one just because of the pink and the black and the white. I think that gray will actually work really well there. And since I have all of this together, I am going to clip it once again, just like that, to help keep it together. I'm going to get my crocodile out. I always forget what I need to do to there we go, to unlock it. And now I don't push with all my might. I want it to latch, but I don't want it to not move. See, it still swivels. And I can turn it all the way up there. And I can open all of my envelopes up. And so I have space to right and space to right, 3 places to tuck, space to right, space to right. And then when I'm done with all of that, I can just slide this down. Now, if it bothers you that this sticks up across the top, you can trim it down. I think I'm going to trim it down just because it's a little tall. And with where my envelopes are, if my envelopes were lower, it wouldn't make such a big difference. But I think that with where my envelopes are, it kind of interferes with the shift. So I am going to cut that off along the top so that it is the same up there at the top. And there we go. And you can decorate. I have another piece of that same paper, and I could put it right there, and it could open up on itself as well. Or I can tuck it up in there and make this into a tuck spot. I could put it on down here at the bottom and just make it extra decoration. I can do whatever I want with it. And then for the, let's see, let's add a little bit of decoration to it. I will put some of the ribbon up there. I just will remember this time to put it on a little less restrictive, a little less tight on the top. Let's move that. And I am just going to take a length of this, and since I want to account for a knot to be at the top, I'll make it a little bit longer than what I think I'll need. And then I'm going to take a length of this. I may take 2 since this is really, really light. What is it? Organza. Organza, I think. Organdy? Organza. It is one of those 2. All right. And I am going to, whoops, just feed those through the hole using my tweezers, because I can stick the tweezers through the hole, grab the ends of the ribbons in the tweezers and pull it through. And look, I'm going to have to do it one at a time, of course. I didn't think I was going to have to, but I did. It doesn't matter. It'll be fine. There we go. And instead of tying the knot down here like I did last time, I'm going to get them all gathered up to the top and tie a knot in the end. There we go. And I think that that's pretty, and it gives it plenty of room for my tag to still, or my card to still swivel. I think I want to add a little bit more. So I'm thinking one of these. Which one? Which one? I think I like this one. There we go. And these are Prima flowers. They are always so pretty. And I could put that there. I could put it down here, but it would be interfering with the envelopes, I think. But I can put it there. I can put it right there to where it's kind of on both of them. I like that. And I have this ticket over here too, I just saw. Because I have things laying around everywhere. Yes, I like that. I like that. This one I actually have a little nest of threads that I glued underneath of the flower. But I don't think, I don't see any laying around here, and so I'm not going to make you wait while I grab. I wouldn't make you wait anyway. I would just pause the video and go do my thing, and you wouldn't know the difference unless I told you. Oh, wait. Well, I think I do like that, and I did just happen to have that sticking out of a bin over there. All right, so we're going to put some glue right across here to hold the lace down. And I smear it out really thin so that it doesn't show through the lace. I try not to have little bobbles. As a matter of fact, I will sometimes just do that, and then I know I don't have any bobbles, and it rubs right off of your fingers. Not so much off of your fingernails. I feel like I always have glue on my fingernails, but it will glue, or will rub off of your fingers. And then, of course, you're going to wash your hands, right? And now I see something else sitting up here. Yep. Okay, I need to stop finding things. And I didn't decorate the back of that one because it was pretty decorative already with the two different patterns. The back of this one, to me, looks kind of plain though. So I think that I'm going to open it up. Let's see. What does that look like? Ooh, well, I like that. Okay, my alarm clock went off, and so I had to stop the video. Or it stopped the video, I should say, and I had to start it again. Okay, so I kind of like this idea as well. I have this piece of paper that is exactly the same size as the tag. I didn't cut it apart at the same time, so I know it's not from the same piece of paper. But I just want to close this because I think I had an idea. I think I'm going to glue this on there as a pocket on the inside of the tag. So yes, this tag is probably not going to be one, at least this one that I'm making is probably not one that's going to be included in a journal. It will be a standalone. This one is flat enough that except for the flower, and you can actually cut that little ball off in the center and add just a little bit of paint or, what do they call them? Liquid pearls, things like that, something like that in the center if it looked ugly underneath. And it would lie really well inside of a journal. This one is going to be more of a standalone gift. I have just determined that. And you witnessed it with your own eyes. That way's the front, so I want this on the front. All right, so now we have a pocket. So do I have any pink polka dots left? I do. They are strips, but they will help me remember that those are pockets, I think. Or I could do this. That's too big. Here, I can do this to remind myself that they are pockets. And then I'll come back and I will put something in them. Maybe littler tags or little just ephemera that can be used elsewhere. And then it will close and close and close and slide shut. I wonder, are you one of those that as you're doing things, you're like, oh, I wonder what this does. Oh, I wonder what this does. Oh, I wonder what this does. Because that is so me. I do that all the time. Rabbit trails, that's my middle name. Squirrel, that's my other middle name. So there you are. It is a triple envelope pocket, a swivel pocket, tag. I don't know. I don't even know what to call it yet. You know what? I'll figure out what I'm going to call it, and it will have been in the title of this video. Thank you for joining me today. And I hope you learned something. I hope you got an idea. I hope, if nothing else, you enjoy the thought process that I had to go through. I am probably going to take one of these ribbons and tie it back through the top like that one. I do appreciate your company. Even though you can't talk back to me through this, you can always talk back to me through the comments. Please leave me a comment. Did you like it? Did you not like it so much? Do you think I really messed it up? I do appreciate your thoughts. I appreciate your comments because even the ones that tell me I messed up teach me. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, be kind. Bye.